The top Wizard Scourge build that obliterates challenge dungeons and raids. Let's watch this. Alright.
I am Orof, the High Priest of Nyx, and only those who are worthy are allowed to enter the Nyxian halls of secrets. And if you are here now, you are one of the chosen few. In this video, we're gonna discover.
Oh, I know this build.
That has been
I think I saw a poly using these once in challenge dungeons. No, in challenge rifts.
hidden dormant for centuries. We're gonna use essences that has never been used before. We're gonna deal immense damage, both single target and to AoE. I'm gonna go through everything in detail, and I need you to pay very close attention, because there are some details here that are necessary for this build to shine. I'm gonna go through the skills, the essences, the set pieces. I'm gonna show you my legendary gem setup and also give you some other
Look at that!
We're gonna take a look
This
at how
looks
much
fun, dude.
damage we're able to deal to the training dummy. And of course, we're also gonna take a look at some gameplay. So, please sit down, pay close attention, and don't miss a single word that I'm gonna tell you.
Don't miss a single word, guys.
I hope that my real voice didn't scare you away. And if you're still here, congratulations, because I'm gonna show you this build now, and it's super, super strong. And it's also very, very fun to play. And also it's unique. It's not like anything we've played before. It wasn't possible to play this build just a few weeks ago, because then the helmet we're using was not working properly against bosses, but this has been hotfixed, and since then we can now deal tons of damage utilizing the mechanics in this setup. Let me first show you the skills real quick.
What is
here we
this
can
build,
see that
man?
I use the magic missile primary
Not the
attack.
build, the
I use
skin, I don't know.
Field, teleport, arcane torrent, and I also use Scourge.
Bro, Arcane Torrents. It's been a while. It's been a minute since I checked Arcane Torrent, man. Alright, this seems fun. I like it.
And if we look here on the set pieces, this is also kind of unique. We use 2 pieces of Vitus Urge. This is staple for every build in the game. But on top of that, we also use the Endwinter set. And if you're not familiar with this set, what it does is that whenever you're able to chill or freeze an enemy, you will gain some extra damage output, and this is the 2-piece effect, so we will get 15% increased damage against chilled enemies and 30% damage against frozen enemies. And what's also very good with this set is that you will also apply an Endwinter mark onto any boss, meaning that you can also get this damage buff against a boss even if you can't chill it or freeze it, and that's of course super good. I also have to say
another thing that is important to know about this set is like when it applies this mark, your damage to total loss of control is also applied, which is gonna ramp up your damage a lot.
That if you don't use the Endwinter set at all with the setup, it's not gonna work. It's very crucial that you have at least 2 pieces, otherwise the helmet will not work properly. And I'm gonna explain to you the essences in just a little bit, but first let us...
Because I think they need to be frozen or chilled, so then like those things come out. I remember someday, I think I sicked like a poly build, something like that.
Continue and take a look here at the Endwinter set. If you have 4 pieces, you also have a 30% chance to freeze already chilled enemies for 3 seconds when applying an additional chill.
Yeah, it applies on the boss.
This freeze effect will trigger almost all the time, because
but you cannot freeze the boss.
Chill damage thanks to some of the essences we're using. Finally, if we go down here and read the
6 pieces
effect,
alright,
we will once every 40 seconds gain Mountain's Breath for 12 seconds, and this causes our attacks to shatter shield or frozen enemies, and we can see that if we attack frozen enemies, the damage will be even higher. I could probably say that this is similar to the Grace set, but it's a lot more damage that you are able to deal. This will also work against the boss, as I said, because we will apply the Endwinter mark, so it's very cool, and I don't think I've ever used the 6-piece effect with such great efficiency before from the Endwinter. Enough about the set compilation.
Oh my god, look, this build, what is this skin? Oh, this skin looks actually godly. So Frost build with a Frost skin. Nice.
What's most interesting about this build
also
is
using
of course
the
to
chip.
take a look at the essences. There are a lot of unique choices here that we have not used in many other builds. In the helmet slot, we use Crown of Frozen Tears, and the name is very fitting because what will happen is that we will deal a lot of freeze effects thanks to this helmet, and we will also make our enemies cry. So there will be frozen tears everywhere. What it does is that Scourge now hurls multiple frigid spears of ice at an enemy, and if they hit a frozen enemy, the spheres shatter, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies. This is really cool because when we deal damage to a group of enemies, all of these explosions will trigger on every enemy. So if there are 5 enemies in a group and all of them are frozen,
so that's why we saw those explosions.
So we will deal tons of burst damage with this build. It's super cool. Let me show you how it works because it's kind of an interesting mechanic here. When I attack the dummy here, and now one of the shield effects that everyone has is from the rune here. I'm just going to show you. Everyone doesn't know it. From the rune here, we can see that your primary attacks have a 6% chance to reduce enemy attack and movement speed. This actually counts as a shield. This is not an important shield in this build, but I'm just going to use it to illustrate the Scourge helmet here. If you look here in the Scourge skill, there is nothing weird about it right now. If I use it, I will hurl these spheres. It looks like almost like a snowball fight when I use the skill. But you can see now that there are not that many spheres whenever I use the skill. But if I apply shield to a target, you can see that now there's a blue bar around the skill that recharges. And now all of a sudden, if I use this skill and on top of that, take a look at this range, it's amazing. If I now
so you
use
have
the
to
skill,
target?
you can see that there are tons of snowballs.
Oh, but
So
probably you can
what will
spam
happen
it, right?
with this build is that I will throw
And it
these
just goes like
spheres
everywhere
all around me, and thanks to the other
like the thing is, like, imagine like you're going through the dungeons and you always have like to pinpoint all these things. It'll be a bit annoying, but I'm sure like if you just spam the button, they'll just gonna attack like nearby targets.
I will constantly recharge this fully. So if you look at it, it's only 1 second cooldown. So we will be able to spam this skill a lot. And what's so good about it as well, I know that now I'm talking...
By the way, this is probably one of the first builds that we're seeing that is not using the what is called the tempered, the temporal flux, the helmet.
Quite a long time about this specific essence, but it's just because it's so interesting. If we compare this with other spam builds, here we will only have to spam 1 button. And the tricky thing about playing a spam build on a mobile phone is that, let's say that I want to use.
You cannot spam multiple at the same time.
If I press down my finger like this, the skill won't trigger until I release the finger.
Yeah.
So if I have to spam many buttons,
this is the reason why the disintegrate with the Lightning Nova build kind of sucks to play on the mobile. It's because you can only literally press 1 button at the same time
in order to deal a lot of damage. It means that sometimes I will spam the second skill before I have released the first skill, and then the second skill won't trigger. So for example now, if I hold down the Scorch and then try to click Arcane Torrent, nothing happens. So I have to release first before I can use a different skill. And that's a huge issue when we play on the mobile phone or on an iPad, because this is not the case on a PC. On a PC with a regular keyboard,
I just spam
the skill
everything.
will be thrown when you play spam build immediately when you click the button, so you don't have to release. And whenever you click the second button, it will also trigger without you having to release the first button first. This means that anyone who plays a spam build on a PC will deal a lot more damage compared to if they play on a mobile phone or on an iPad.
Also, it is more comfortable, right? Not only is it easier to spam, but also is more comfortable. You can all agree on that. Like spamming like these, like it's so annoying. I mean, like if you were using a controller, is not that bad on the mobile, but if you're just spamming on the screen and tapping, it is a bit annoying.
iPad. But this will not be an issue when there's only 1 skill that we have to spam, because then we will just press release, press release,
Yo,
press
Wally,
release.
what's up,
Let
man?
us move on and take a look at the other essences, and then of course we're gonna see how they work in tandem. In the chest slot, I use Lisana's Sorrow, and what it says is
I
that
love this
Frostfield
one.
now grants
Love
a
it.
creeping chill, causing your attacks to chill
This is for the
enemies
CC
and
wizard
freeze
in
them on
PvP.
critical hits. And this is of course crucial, because now all of a sudden, if I use Frostfield And then I use another skill like Arcane Torrent. Look now at the blue bar around the Scourge. You can see that it recharges immediately.
Oh, you
so
recharge
it will
all the
always be full
time
whenever I use it, as long
Wow.
as the Frost Field is active. If I wouldn't use the Frost Field essence here, it would be a lot more tricky to make sure that the Scourge is fully recharged every time.
So basically the Arcane Torrent is not here for the damage, it's just here to trigger the Scourge, basically.
And this will also only work well if we use the Endwinter set, because the Endwinter set will also apply chill and freeze effects. The combination
Do I even
of this
have like 6
chest
pieces
piece
in
and the
Winters? I don't
Endwinter
think
set
so.
is perfect together with this Scorch essence. So very
may
cool
try
synergies
this.
here for sure. If we move on here and take a look in the shoulder slot, I use Insult to Injury, and what it says is that damage dealt by Scorch to the same enemy within 2 seconds is increased by 15.2%. And look at this. This can stack up
Wow,
to 3
45.
times. So we can get a total of 45.6% extra
crazy.
damage to the Scorch. And on top of that, the Awakened effect also gives damage. So of course,
So
this is a huge
55% just
damage
here.
increase. It's really,
Wow.
really crazy. And you will see, both in the dungeons, but I will also do a training dummy test where you will see how powerful this Scourge skill is. If we move on here and take a look at the
Actually,
pants, I use
Barbor
Fire
or
Revenge,
Tempest will work
and
well.
you might recognize this from
Depends
before.
on what
This
you
is a
like the
teleport
most.
essence, and what it
Tank
says is
or
the
DPS.
teleport is now imbued with fire, damaging and
I
burning
love
nearby
these pants.
enemies.
By the way,
when-
these pants, in my opinion, are like one of the most fun essences that came for the Wizard in the past times. Like you just teleport on them and you do a instantly burst
you
damage.
arrive at your target location, and also
You can
on
literally
top
do
of
like
that,
millions
if you
of
land
damage
on
with
the
that.
target whenever a target is burning, and since this applies a burn effect, it will always work. Whenever I let go, you can see now that the remaining cooldown of teleport goes down whenever I hit this burning enemy. So it's very, very good, and mainly I use this skill to get more mobility in dungeons because we don't have that much movement
Is
speed.
it in the
But
wolf arts?
when I
It's
play
nice.
this build, I've noticed that mobility will most often not be an issue. It's only in a few dungeons where maybe some movement speed would help a little bit. I can show you that there is a shoulder for the Scourge that also gives movement speed. So if we go here and then we scroll down a little bit, we can see that we have Torchbearer's Pride that gives a lot of movement speed. But I really like the shoulder I'm using now because it's so much damage, and it will help us
Yeah,
to melt
probably
down
is
the
not
bosses
needed.
even faster. So feel free to play around with both of these.
I mean, but if you're like a crazy whale that has like a huge amount of damage, probably you can, ditch these. But I will say, like, for the average player, just the normal teleport will be fine for you to have the mobility.
Shoulders, of course. In the first maintenance slot, I use Rift Carver, and what it says is that Arcane Torrent now creates a chaotic orb that moves with you and fires arcane missiles at
This
random
used to be,
nearby
like, very
enemies.
popular.
And this is an old essence. I just use it to recharge the Scourge very
Yeah,
fast. There
exactly.
are probably other options that also works well. I have experimented a little bit with some ice armor essences, but the offhands are very important to buff the Scourge skill, so therefore I chose to use Rift Carver here instead. I have not been able to find the new pants that gives us a meteor skill. It might work even a little bit better. In that case, I would replace the Rift Carver here for something else that buffs the damage of magic.
Oh, so he's saying that maybe he can actually replace the Arcane Torrent with the meteor if he had the pants with a huge meteor.
Missile, and I would use the vanilla teleport instead of the fire one, just to get that meteor instead. But yeah, as I said, I haven't been able to find it yet, and
that's
I also
interesting.
don't think it's cast while moving, so maybe it's not the best
No,
option.
you have to
I
stop.
will have to try it out later
Yeah,
when
he
I
has
find
to
it.
stop to
Let's
cast
move
it.
on here and take a look at the first offense slot. Here I use Ascalor's Fire, and this is basically a 19% damage increase
Scorch
on the
damage.
Scorch. And yeah, the Scorch will be the main source of damage for this build, so of course this is a good offhand to use. In the second maintenance slot I use Equalizer, and what it says is that each time you use a skill, your next magic missiles turn into a flaming missile if cast within 5 seconds.
Are you gonna
and
use
this
primary?
missile will explode on impact, dealing tons of damage to nearby enemies. And you can also stack up to 3 of these missiles. As I've already shown
Okay,
you,
I gotta see the gameplay because most of the times, like, whenever I'm playing Wizard nowadays, I rarely even press the primary attack, man. I just spam all my abilities and I do a lot of damage.
The cooldown of the Scorch is very, very low, and this means that we will be able to recharge this fire missile
Thoughts on the new
over and over
Necromancers?
again.
I have to test it out.
It works very, very well for this build, of course.
They seem okay, though.
In the second offense slot, I use Withering Chill, and what it says is that Scorch critical hit chance is increased by 29% against shield enemies.
Wow.
And 50% against frozen.
Wow, 50%. Bro, the multipliers on this build are off the charts. Like, literally. You have 50% here. You have 55% on the shoulders. I think you had what, like 20% here on the other one, on the other offhand. Jesus Christ.
Also increase the damage of Scorch.
It kind of reminds me back in the day, whenever like I came up like with a one-shot build for Barbarian, it was about like picking up all these crazy multipliers. So the chest will give you 76%. The Revenant something. Then you also had the main hand, you had the shoulders, you had all these multipliers that at the end you were just hammering like 1-2 million damage.
So also a very, very good essence for this build. Of course, we will have a lot of critical hit chance during the first part of a 20-second cycle thanks to Rolling Consequence, for example. This will help us to juice out some extra damage in between. So it's a really, really good essence, and there's not really anything as gems.
Legendary gems. So the typical one, right? The normal 5 gems. Then he's using the chipped because they're gonna apply loss of control, and he's gonna do that crazy damage. The Wolf Art probably because he's doing like a lot of like multiple attack damage. Also is gonna give him attack speed, and the Spectral Glass obviously because it's like instant burst that's gonna apply to them. For the Paragon, let's see what he's using. Using the Arbiter. Arbiter is really cool on Wizard, especially for dungeons. You're just gonna keep dashing around, gonna keep like giving like these extra damage and extra crit. So let's see the summary.
To summarize here before we take a look at the training dummy is that
I'm gonna give you guys the full links that you guys can go check everything.
And now any type of damage we deal to a target will inflict chill, and we can just start spamming the Scourge, and
so
it works really, really well.
You are
and then
still
of course
spamming.
we can also use the primary attack for the magic missiles. So yeah, it's super nice, and when we need to get forward in a dungeon, we just dash to where the monsters are. We start attacking with magic missile and spam Scorch, and then we just teleport to the next group of mobs. And most of the time there will not be that much running because the teleports can get you quite far. And remember, whenever you land
I want to see the testing.
Here we are training dummy, and remember
Let's
now
see the
that
damage.
we will not be able to recharge the Harbing Paragon, so if we would do the dummy run, I would probably go for Slinger instead. But yeah, it's very straightforward. You just spam the
free to play, by the way, free to play.
Just keep the buffs up. We're not using the teleport as much here at the dummy, of course, but this will be more utilized in the dungeon. And I can also say that if you play raids,
that's crazy.
I would not use the teleport. In that case, I would definitely
does this give
try
more
to
damage
get my
than
hands on the new Meteor
than the
pants,
Lightning Nova?
Because it also has a very low cooldown and long range. And when we play, especially in gauntlets, this build is very nice because we have such a long range of both the Scourge and if we're going to use the new Meteor pants. So then we can actually stay quite far away from the boss and just keep kiting it. To not take any damage, and yeah, it's gonna be super effective. And yeah, when I do a raid setup with this build, I deal approximately.
I may be wrong, but I think this has less damage than the single target than the Disintegrate Lightning Nova.
1.5
it feels
to
that
1.6 billion damage. So the damage,
because like 1.1 billion damage on Aura's account, it's still like very good, obviously, but probably with the Lightning Nova, it can get more because Maw's account is worse than his, and Maw gets like 1.4 billion damage, right? Is 1 billion possible? Yeah, of course. At least on my free-to-play account, I have reached 865 million. I am very, very close to hit 1 million. That's what I'm saying. It's my free-to-play account. No, this is obviously this is not free to play. I was trolling, right? He is not free to play. But but I am, and I reached with the wizard 865. So compared my account to his account, I will say that it had to be higher.
This is really, really good. But anyways, in the dungeon.
But this I feel like it's gonna be more powerful in the dungeons, you know.
So here we find ourselves in the Forgotten Tower, and let's see how.
Yeah, it has a lot of AoE damage, and it also something that I love, and you guys know it because on the bar build that I make, I really like to use the frigid axes because not only is gonna apply this burst of damage, but it also freezes the targets. And I think like a lot of people, they especially as a wizard, you're freezing the targets. It means that you're actually not gonna take damage inside challenge dungeons, and your survivability goes through the roof.
As I mentioned already, the range is so huge of the Scourge, so even if I have a little bit less mobility compared to some builds, that's not a huge issue, at least in most dungeons.
Yeah, see, everything is frozen. Everything is frozen. You're good. So you can teleport in, you dash in.
I actually say that I really think this build is so cool because of that reason. We can just stand in the middle of a room and just wreak havoc everywhere. It's really nice. And that's also why I prefer to use the damage shoulder over the movement speed one, because yeah, the movement speed is not that much of an issue in most cases, and I think that most people, maybe they don't kill off everything as fast as I do, and in that case it helps a lot to have that extra juice from the shoulder. So all in all, this is a very efficient build. It's often gonna take to the top of the damage charts. It's not really like anything we've seen before, and that's always nice when we get to try out new skills and new essences in new types of combinations, and I really like it.
The thing is, like, I don't think he's even using any new answers. It's just like it's a new conjunction, right? Well, let me see here. Is he even using like any new answers? Okay, let me see. Yeah, normal gem. Thank you for that, sir. All right, we got lucky. So if you go here, is he using anything new? Meteor, no. Ice armor, no. Slow time, yeah. He's not using even like any new Inferno 8.
And I'm so happy that they hotfixed the helmet here so that it works on bosses as well.
Yeah, and I think that was like the biggest mistake.
Yeah,
they did with this helmet. This helmet looks very cool
when you try this build out. And of course, if you have any suggestions or...
Guys, bro, I'm really fucking pumped to actually go and try this out. Go there, drop a like and a sub on Aurat if you still didn't.